Hello. I really want to play with the frames that were in this issue of the Foxy Rag. So there were some ready-mades that came with the magazine, and I wanted to have a little play with the others because obviously I made the previous ones, but I haven't done anything with these. So quite a while ago I did a video using making some specimen slides, and I showed how I cut, if I'm going to cut an inside frame, and I thought it's worth showing that again because it's a nice easy way to cut a frame. Now what I would have done is printed these on a heavier weight photo paper, but unfortunately I'd only printed them on the photo quality, so they're a little bit thinner than I would have liked, but this is probably doesn't need quite that much. This is a great way to get a nice neat edge on your frame, as I did with those specimen slides a while ago. In actual fact, I probably should have folded before I cut that additional section out, but it's too late now. So what I do is I use my ruler, line it up and just lift that and fold it and do that all the way around. Oh, I've got an itchy foot, sorry. That's only the top of my foot, don't worry. Not the not the dirty underneath side. Didn't really need to know that, did you? But anyway, sorry, I had an itchy foot. Oh, can't get my nail under here. I had a bit of a stroke of luck because on Facebook Marketplace I found 500 sheets of A1 newsprint paper and a hefty wad of this what is it called? It's called cartridge paper. So that was really cool. And again, like I said, this would have been a lot easier if I'd have printed it onto a bit of a thicker paper. Not necessarily a cardstock, but cardstock would work as well. Obviously, I get a lot of questions about what I print onto, and I get a fairly good print because I use the photo paper that's designed for my printer, and that's what I'd always recommend if you want a really crisp, sharp image, because any other paper is porous and the ink is going to soak in and slightly bleed. Even if it's only a small amount, you're going to get not such a crisp image. I mean, these are, if I can get it in focus, these are very right. Now I've folded those in, what I'm going to do is, because the inside of the frame is black, I'm going to take my black ink and I'm going to just go round the inside of that. So any little white area is going to be inked and show as black. I usually do it from the underneath, but this particular sponge is a bit of a funny shape now. So there, I've got my nice, I'm just gonna, you can do the same as well around the edge, although I'm gonna do this again because I'm gonna mount this. Let's leave it at that for now. Okay, I've already cut out one of my images, but before, I'm just gonna glue these into place. I don't know how I managed to get so much glue on my fingers, but I do. Can't help it. Okay. Oops, that's not good. See, thicker paper. Definitely want thicker paper. Now, there are a lot of options for these. We could glue this into place. We could, if we had a journal page, what you could do is, if you imagine that being attached to a journal, you could add the frame to an envelope or a journal page, and then this could slide in and be used as a journaling card. So that's another option for these, but I think in this case I am going to just mount it. Now I've got some cereal packet here. That's a good size. So I'm going to start off by, I'm going to glue these together first. And I know this white area is not going to show in my frame, so I'm going to glue around here. Lay the frame on. That's nicely stuck down there. Now, here is the next option. We can mount and then sew. I'm going to actually glue onto this side. So we could glue and then sew, or we could sew the paper and then mount it onto the cardstock. And that's your choice depending on your sewing machine and how you feel it will, will go through the card. I'm going to glue this down first. Then I don't have to keep pausing the video. Okay, so let's cut this out. Perfect. Just going to ink around the edge of here again, because now we've got a bit more white showing. Oh, it's definitely, this sponge is definitely at the end of its life. As you can see. I'll just blow my butterflies everywhere. I pre-cut butterflies because I knew nobody would want to watch me cut a few butterflies out. Okay, happy with that. I want to work on the back here. Probably didn't use the best bit of box. It's a little bit bent. Now, let me find. This is the old vintage photo. I'm going to just, the best I can without getting circles everywhere, blend in the back of this. I don't think I've got too many circles there, and the software has, as usual, crashed, so I'm hoping I'm going to stay in frame and the filming is still occurring as it should be. Right, now I'm going to go around the edge here with the black. And what I have is, I have a set of the fabulous stamps from Kerry Fellows and family. So I'm going to use one of these. It's not going to look like a carte de visite or a, one of the photo cards from the Victorian ages, but we're going to get a little bit of interest on the back here, I think. Just make sure. Yeah. So I'm going to use my archiver link because I'm hoping I'm going to be able to use triple thick to go over this and make it a little bit shiny. Woohoo! I love it. And I want a signature. Anyone? There are 3 signatures on here. I'm going to go for that one. I'm going to put it at a little angle like so. And then I'm going to use lastly this little number. this corner. Love it. All right, so thanks for the stamps, Kerry. Pretty cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a very quick dry. I didn't want that to smudge when I turned it over. Now it's going to be a little bit on the bent side, but that's fine. We're going to be able to sort that out. Now I'm going to add a couple of little phrases. I'm going to use Believe in Yourself. These are obviously fairly little, but that's because they kind of fit on these cards nicely. Thank you to everyone who's already been over and purchased the Foxy Rag. I hope this gives you some ideas, even though you've got your ready-mades. I'm never very good at cutting out at the best of times, and I'm even worse when I'm trying to do it on film. It takes me ages to cut out neatly. And I'm just going to give these a little bit of an ink. I will link Kerry's shop in the description box as well. Now, where am I going to put these little words? And then which butterfly? I think this one. I'm not going to re-ink, but I'm just going to go around a little bit. I mean, these would look pretty cool heat embossed too. But I don't have time for that today, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'm not going to get gluey fingers over everything. I'm not going to do any sewing on these ones because, well, it's just a time factor really. Although it would look quite nice with some stitching around the edge, I think. That might spoil the back. Right, so onto the back. I have I've only recently bought this because I saw somebody on a Michelle Scott live talk about triple thick. I usually use either heat emboss or the this one. No, not this one. Oh, it's not in my thing. What's it called? Glossy Accents. I usually use a bit of Glossy Accents. Now, do I want to do anything else to this before? No, I'm going to go straight in. So I'm going to take, which brush did I use before? I don't remember. I used a fairly, this one I think. So I'm just going to use this brush. I've got my water at the ready. And I am going to, the vintage photo is probably going to bleed because I've that's a distress ink and this is a wet medium that I'm putting over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the text and I'm putting this on reasonably thick. Oh my days, it's raining. It's so warm. I keep thinking we're going to have a thunderstorm. It's definitely got that feel. Now, I've not used this before. I've used it in a previous video, and that was the first time really. So I'm not 100% sure how thick you should be applying this. But if you put it on too thin, what I noticed is you get a lot more brush marks than you do if you put it on a little bit thicker. So I'm going thick. I'm going thick is more in my case with this stuff. I'm just trying to move it around a bit to the light so I can see where it needs a bit more. Oh, and those of you, you obviously know that I'm a big F1 fan. Love my Formula One, love my racing. I watched my first Indy 500 last weekend. It was amazing. Absolutely loved it. So I'm looking forward to more IndyCar. And I've obviously got to support McLaren. I got quite excited thinking McLaren driver O'Ward was going to come third. He ended up coming fourth. But the other thing I've noticed with the old IndyCar is they don't really make such a fuss of second and third place like we do in Formula One. It's you're either first or you're nowhere by the looks of it. But that was good fun. I did enjoy watching that. Okay, so that's quite thick and it's actually not very evenly spread at all. So maybe this stuff is not brilliant on a thicker or a larger surface. I don't know. Anybody who's using this triple thick, if you've used it a lot, let me know. Right, that's not going to dry anytime soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that aside. 10 minutes. No. So anyway, there are lots of options for these different butterflies or no butterfly. That would be quite cool. Anyway, I hope you like the idea of creating the back as a photo card. I'm back with the finished tags. So this was the one that we did earlier, and that's quite shiny on the black because I used that triple thick. I actually really like it. It's given it a bit of a texture as well because it didn't go on smoothly. This one I sewed around what I did was I glued the image to the frame. I then distressed around the edge of the frame and inked like I did the others. I've done that on all of them. I glued the image to the frame and then I did the sewing and then I mounted it. And after that was done, I added the words and the butterfly. And I've just added a little stamp on this one. This one, same process. And I just did a zigzag stitch around there. I've put a label on here and then a little sentiment there too. And then this one, I did some sewing around the edge, another stamp and butterfly and another little sentiment. So the backs of these ones, they're not 100% dry. I did the same kind of stamping. I'll just show you those. So that's the original one. On these ones, I've done the stamping, just changed the stamps up very slightly, but I have used the collage medium on these. So it's given it a texture and it's protecting the ink, but it's not as shiny. It's matte. You could use matte medium or a gloss medium, but you will probably still get brush marks. But I'm really happy with the backs as well as the fronts. So I hope you liked them. And I will see you again soon. Bye.